Hey guys, welcome. I'm Darren from Beyond the Tape podcast. This is just a little bit of a video to coincide with the announcement of the new podcast sponsor, Canyon Bicycles. They've come on board for this year in a massive way to help us keep providing you guys with the content that you want and that hopefully you guys are liking. This video we're just doing a quick unboxing, which I hate the word of, or quick build up, and just to show you how easy it is to build one of these bikes. So I've just got one of the new 2021 Spectrals in this box here. Let's see what's coming out. Pretty simple stuff. It's all pretty much together. Just some more cardboard. I feel like someone at Customs has been through this and already opened it. We should have our little box of goodies here. Just get the plate out. Yeah, make sure you don't stab yourself in any parts that may hinder you in having children later. Get rid of some bubble wrap. That was smooth as well. So yeah, basically it just says let's get started on this cool little box. Open her up. The rad thing these guys have done is they've provided you with this cool little torque wrench. It's a manual, old school kind of torque wrench, so it uses the torque of this bar here and just gives you a manual reading just by twisting. It's good for you guys that haven't worked on bikes much and don't really know your torque. I've worked on bikes forever, still like to use a torque wrench. They've given you all the bits as well, which is cool if you don't have them. We've got some assembly paste here for your carbon. That's basically to go on the seat tube and the handlebars. Carbon is porous. It looks flat, but it actually has little pores on there, so it doesn't have the gripping ability of aluminium. And then we've got a cool little bag. Don't know what that's for, but it's cool to have. Thankfully, they don't come with all the reflectors and stuff on there, but I do have a dropper post cable, the rear axle, and a few other things in here, so I'm going to need that later. Put the front axle in there as well. That's also in a cool little Velcro lock bag. Get my front axle out because that's what I'll need first. And reflectors, sick bell. Not sure what that is, but I guess I'll find out later. My rear axle, I can deal with that later. In there. Got a rad little shock pump. Not sure who manufactures this, but it does look a lot like a Toe Peak one or any generic kind of shock pump. And then a quick start guide, a little bit of light reading, and then we have the Canyon Bible, which everyone loves. I can just go down there. Really love to keep my workspace nice and tidy. Got this sick little one-up dropper post. I've been using these for a while. I love them. You can just kind of cut the shim to your size. So if you're running like an awkward size seat post height and you need to run this at minimum, you can pull the shim out and cut it. This one's 10mm adjustable, so I think it goes from a 180 to a 170. They're pretty rad. Nice little ergon seat. And then the good bit, the bike itself. Let's see how smoothly this goes. It's got this guy here. Definitely been unwrapped at some point from Customs, because I believe it usually comes a little bit better packed than this. Alright, now I'll just grab my axle. You can lay this down, so you can actually use this as a bike building stand. But I've got this sick feedback stand behind me, which I can just grab my front axle out. Got a little bit of grease on there, which is good. And then this bad boy should just sit in there. Unfortunately, this feedback stand is a little bit wider than 110. You can tell I'm a smooth operator. If I just jam that in there, it's my bike up in the stand. Then I've got these sick DT XMC 1501 wheels. Some heavy duty tubes in there from the factory. Some cassette, which I just pulled off. And then some plastic spacers, which is super rad. While I've got this out, might be worth just with these DT hubs, you can just pop the free hub body off. If you're not comfortable doing this, you can get someone else to do it. Just chuck this guy in the bin. Just be careful putting this guy on. There you go. Sick reflectors. Alright. This guy's cool. Bring this forward for you. Yeah, probably best to get a blade. Don't just go hacking at this stuff because you don't want to scratch your brand new bike. Hopefully Customs haven't already done that for me. I'll time lapse this bit. XO1 Derailleur, which is rad. Just want this little bit of plastic here. Get rid of that. Always cut away from the frame. Pop. Built a few bikes in my time, so I kind of know what is going on, but they do have instructions everywhere on this guy. Wasn't sure how this colour would look, but seeing it in the flesh, it's quite cool. Got some carbon crank jobbies going on here. Claimed weight of this bike is 13.3 kilos, which is damn light for a 150mm trail bike, with some Pike Selects on the front, and then we've got a deluxe Ultimate on the rear as well. So that's probably going to get swapped out for some Olin's goodies. Brakes are going to get swapped out, and there's going to be a few other kind of mods to this, so I'll take you through those once I get them. Oh man, I think I just got some plastic. Woo! Looking schmick. Alright. Let's move on to the handlebars first. Stop stuff from hanging there for too long. Let me just adjust that. Cool thing with this stand is it's free spinning, so if I need to do anything on the bike, I don't have to walk around the stand, everything just kind of moves with it. So if you're looking for a pretty rad stand for home, this is it. They do retail for about $450, so they're not cheap, but I do prefer it over having to clamp any dropper post or anything by the stanchion or anything like that. Jesus. I don't know how much. Well, at least my bedding is sorted for tonight. Go and slam on that. It's recommended that this bike is made by a skilled mechanic, so I probably should get someone else. Alright. I need a 5mm for this stem. Yep. These are a bit of an odd stem. They're actually a two-piece stem. So you kind of got to take these two front bolts out and super easy. Undo that guy. Drop a washer as usual. Drop that one. Easy found. Keep them in my hand. Let's take this guy out. And of course, this top one, let's undo that. Just to loosen that off. Cool, and that will basically get the top of the stem off for you. And run this guy in there. This around there. Oh, I'm going to have to take that guy all the way off. Let's see if I can do that. No. There we go. Alright, so we're going to chuck that guy in there. We'll replace that washer later. Chuck this guy in here. See if this guy will thread up. There we go. If you've got an electric drill at home, this might be a little bit quicker. I reckon this is going to be the hardest part of this build by the looks of it. Bars are pretty even. Just make sure you've got nice even gaps everywhere. I reckon it's 5 Newton meters. There we go. It's obviously not magnetized, which is a little bit annoying. There we go. Nice even gaps. That's at 5. 5. 5. Let's check that last one again. It's good. Alright, let's chuck this back rear derailleur on. It's going to be a 5mm. There you go. Make sure it doesn't snap back on your fingers. There you go. Doesn't need to be super tight on there. That's for my rear axle. See how that dinner's getting cooked in the kitchen. Make sure its gears in, just slide it in there. Because I took that end cap off before, it's just being a little bit tricky. Go. Chuck that in, use that quick release lever from Canyon and wind it on. Now, a cool thing you can do at this point is get the chain and just drape it over the frame there. That way it's going to stop the cassette making any noise. The frame's just sitting, chain's just sitting over the frame and over that rear derailleur, or you can hold it up if you like. Just to do that, and you just give it a spin. And then you can hear the disc noise a little bit easier, otherwise you'd be listening to loud free hub. Some DT paperwork in the bin, but thankfully it's all aligned pretty well. Just make sure you chuck the chain back on and on the cog. Easy as that. Let's see how close they got these gears from the factory. Not even close. I will do that later. Looks like the bead adjustment is out a little bit, which is usually a 3mm. Let's wind that bad boy in. A bit slow on the ups, get a bit more tension. Now I like to stop the wheel before going up on the big cog, that way if it's not set up 100%, which it's definitely not, just allows it to not get thrown into the spokes in your brand new bike straight away. You stop that wheel and then let it go. A bit slow. You see how it's shifting slow down there? And it's quite nice up. What happens is usually you go on your first ride and the cable will stretch, but if you're in a middle gear, just give that derailleur a little bit of pressure and shift through the gears a couple of times. Put pressure on that derailleur and let it sink in. Let everything settle. See how it's a bit faster already on those downs, because all those outer cables are now bedded in. I'm not too stoked on that, but I'll get that fixed. Now, as I mentioned, I reckon Customs have gone through this and the hanger's a little bit bent, so I'll get my hanger alignment tool later and go through that. Alright, so I've got a 1-up cable here, but there's already a cable in the frame which goes to the thing down there. Alright, now as I said, we've got some assembly paste. So it doesn't come off. So I'll get this assembly paste, try to open it. Don't need tons of this, just enough to get on that post, just enough to fill in any of those voids because of the pores. Nice lubed up, use some old shorts. Now this guy, if you grab this little lever and push it in like so, it'll shoot out at you. And you just put the little knob in there, done. Easy as that. You don't need heaps of that paste. It's just there to prevent any corrosion, as I said. Make sure your seat's pointing forward. It's pretty close. Right. Max Newton meters, 4. Cool thing with this torque wrench is you don't have to keep setting it on and off, which is pretty rad. Put this bit of plastic. Just make sure that that guy on there is tight. And get my dropper post. It's going to be a 4mm again. I always lose because I'm hopeless. So I'll just use my torque wrench. Oh no, it's already got it in there. T25. Of course it's a T25 because it's SRAM matchmaker system up here. Let's get that. Of course that happens. This is why I don't have carpet.com. there. New one up lever is almost impossible to mistake. It's got 3 positions on it, which is nice. I'll go on the furthest one because I've got gorilla fists. Here we go. Sick. So that's pretty much built, really. Just a few fine gear tunes and then pump up the pressures. Make sure this is straight. I won't do that until afterwards. They do have this knock block system on there, which we just kind of chuck on, and then you do it up with a 3mm Allen key, and it stops those bars rotating because of the tall head tube on these guys. So this is an extra large, a little bit smaller compared to modern geometry on some other bikes, but I think it's going to be super playful and fun. So thanks for watching, and hopefully that makes some sort of sense and was worth it.